Welcome back. As part of our partnership with AIDS 2020 Virtual, we sat down with the founders of the AIDS Quilt for an insightful interview. Joining me now, Cleve Jones and Gert McMullen. They are AIDS Quilt founders, two remarkable people. Thank you so much for jumping on with us to have a chat today.
My pleasure.
So, there's nearly, I think, 50,000 panels of the AIDS Quilt today. And I only learned this last night doing my research, that each sort of panel was designed to be 3 foot by 6 foot to represent the size of a person's grave. When this all came about, did you think that here in 2020, it would still be a thing and we'd still be talking about it?
Well, I wouldn't have imagined that Gert and I would be here in 2020.
Really?
But yes, we had no idea it was going to go on for so long. And I think that's instructive now as we face the new pandemic of COVID-19 and hear all these promises of imminent treatments or vaccines. We were promised those a long time ago, and, the vaccine still hasn't come. We still don't have a cure. So, but no, and I think when Gert and I started this thing, it was in such a time of such overwhelming fear and sorrow, but we could not have imagined that it would go on as long as it did. And it's a good thing we didn't know, frankly, because I'm not sure we would have had the strength to continue had we known how long a struggle it would be.
How has the role of the quilt and what it represents and means changed over the years?
When we first started, the quilt had some very specific purposes. The first was to create a way for people to grieve together in a way that hopefully would provide some kind of healing. I don't really believe in the notion of closure, but it was also very much about providing the media a tool to enable them to look beyond the statistics and see the humanity of it all. And it was a weapon against our government, and it was evidence of the consequences of our government's failure to act responsibly and compassionately and scientifically. So it was in many ways a call to arms.
Doing my research last night, I saw talking about, a list of names is a list of names, but there's something powerful in those panels of the quilt. Was that an intentional thing from the get-go from you guys, in sort of having it be a quilt and those panels to mean that it's so much more than a list of names of people we've lost?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's that person, and the person that made it is remembering that person and showing you how, what they felt about them. I mean, it's not about the numbers, it's about the face that goes with that panel.
Yeah, and I find it interesting. I mean, I have been fortunate enough to see panels of the quilt over the years. And when it was, you've laid it out there in Washington, D.C. in all its grandeur and glory, but it still evokes a lot of emotions, even if it's just 1 or 2 panels. And you guys have been quite specific about where you place those panels, haven't you? To react, to get certain reactions.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we try to do it where most people are going to see it. And also something like that that's open where all kinds of people would see it. That's definitely a conscious thing that we went after. We've been actually trying to do one at the airport here now, and hopefully we'll get one done up soon. But with COVID-19, that kind of put it at a halt. So,
Cleve, what does it mean to be an HIV activist in this day and age versus when you started all those years ago and you guys came up with the idea of the quilt?
I think the first task of HIV activists today is to remind people that pandemic isn't over yet, and that we're speaking to you from the San Francisco Bay Area, where we are justifiably proud of having gotten almost to zero. We have very few new infections. We have very few deaths. That is not true in many other places around the world and within our own country. And another unfortunate parallel with COVID-19 is that we see that while HIV has been brought under control largely in the big coastal cities like San Francisco and New York, it has settled deep into the South and is still disproportionately affecting young Black and brown men, particularly African-American men in Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas. We still see young people showing up for the first time at a medical facility, and not only are they HIV positive, but their immune systems have already been seriously compromised, and we're still seeing deaths within that population. So HIV is not over. We do not have a vaccine. We have learned some very, very important lessons, and probably the most important is that folks like myself who are being successfully treated with antiretrovirals are no longer capable of transmitting the disease. So we really do understand that treatment equals prevention. And with the advent of pre-exposure prophylaxis, we see a way forward to stop the disease if we can address the racial disparities and make these medications available to everyone who is living with HIV or at risk of contracting it.
That's going to do it for this very special episode of Plus Life, produced in partnership with our great friends at AIDS 2020 Virtual. I'm Karl Schmid. I'm reminding you to get out there, live your best life, and I will see you next time.